Yo, what's up? Today we're going to go over the Meteororb. This is a great character if you're just starting out a ladder. She's great all around, and let's dive into the video.
God and Batman.
So with this build, I'm going to show off the gear first, then the inventory, mercenaries gear. Then we're going to go over skills, stats, then gameplay, and then at the end, I'm going to talk about some alternatives and why you would go with that. Timestamps are down below, so give those a click. So today, we are using a Death's Fathom with a cold facet in there. Death's Fathom is one of the best orbs that you can use for this build, and with the blue facet in there, it looks really cool. So this one is 1% damage away from being perfect damage, and the resistance is you can roll up to 40 light resistance and 40 fire resistance. Oh yeah, that's right. So let's go through it really quick and then I'll dive in deeper. Chain of Honor, Nightwing's Veil. Instead of this amulet, you could go with Mara's Spirit, Sandstorm Trex, Faster Cast Rate Glove, Arachnids, Stone of Jordans, Call to Arms on Switch with Battle Mage Fist and another Spirit. So this also gives you 20% faster cast rate, and plus 3 skills, which is awesome. All sorcery skills. So no matter what you're doing with this, what I usually like to do, honestly, is I like to put a fire facet in this because this is a mixed damage build, and with the plus to cold, and then I like having some plus to fire skills as well. Also with this helmet, you get plus to cold skill damage, and I have a 5/5 fire fast in there. This also gives plus 2 to skills, and cold absorb and dexterity is pretty cool, and half freeze duration is pretty cool too. So with this build, I have this crafted amulet for extra strength and dexterity and life. I used to use this Mara's Kaleidoscope before I got this one, and Mara's helps out with resistances. So my resistances are a little bit lower, but with this build, it's all good. The reason why it's all good is, let's just go to the armor. Armor gives you plus 2 to all skills, 65 to all resistances, gives you 20 to strength, which is great so that you don't have to put as many points to use a Spirit Monarch. And the replenished life is cool, and also the magic find in this is really good because you get a lot of resistances, a lot of strength, a lot of stats and stuff, but you're still getting magic find, which is awesome. The Spirit Monarch is a must-have. It must have 35% faster cast rate, and for this build, in order to hit 110% faster cast rate breakpoint, it has tons of mana plus the skills and lots of resistances. If you roll, like, say you're in a ladder and you roll lower faster cast rate here, you could have a faster cast rate amulet or a faster cast rate ring. So speaking of rings, I have 1 faster cast rate ring with life, mana, and strength, and 1 Stone of Jordan. The Arachnid's Mask also gives us 20% faster cast rate and plus the skills and lots of mana. And Sandstorm Tracks are really great to use here because they give you faster hit recovery, so when you're teleporting around, you don't have to worry about getting stuck and chain locked. It also gives you lots of strength. So you have 15 strength here and 20 strength here. So that's 35 points of strength just so that you can save that and put that on mana or life or whatever you want. So these Mage Fists are upped. I did this a long time ago. I upped it. It was like I just found Mage Fist and I was like, great, I'm gonna up them. I think the ladder ended before I was able to up them a second time. I'm not exactly sure though. So let's see here. Yeah, CTA is also a 5 battle orders, and this is just a random Spirit Monarch. And like I said, you can go Mars Kaleidoscope instead of this. And if you have a CTA in Spirit, it also gives you +2 to skills. I'm not getting this +2 to skills here because this is for Sorcerer skills level. So that's good. But it's make it up with the Nightwing's Veil, you could say. And we have Cold Grand Charms with Life and 2 fire skills. The reason being the cold skill damage. So you do lots and lots of fire damage just innately. 6k per fireball and 15k per meteor. That your frozen orb damage doesn't have as many synergies. So having lots of cold grand charms in your inventory is more helpful than having more fire charms, in my opinion. Let's see here. So you're adding like 300 points to fire, and then with this, you're adding like 30. But keep in mind with the orb attack, it like spreads out, and that's 30 points of damage per icicle. As to my knowledge, that's how it works, right? Some mana and some resistances. I got an all resist charm here. As you can see, I'm missing some fire resistances. Let's see here. Yeah, cold for the cold one. 2013 Source Torch and an Annie with 1128. And this is really vital for this build is an Infinity Cryptic Axe. Ethereal getting a lot of damage because you're really relying on your mercenary to stay alive in fights and also use that conviction to lower enemy resistances. This guy is wearing an F Duras. I made this for him a long time ago. Gives faster hit recovery, crushing blow, resistances, and I just like it because you don't get to see this on a mercenary a lot, so I decided to use this. And with a Duras, you're missing some sort of life leech, so I went with a Vamp Gaze instead of a Andy's Face for some damage reduction. So he's getting damage reduction by 18% and 6 life steal. This was and it's got an enhanced damage gem in it, or a jewel in it. I'm sorry. And yeah, there's better options, but that's just what he's wearing at this point in time. And now let's go over the skills. Put 1 point into Warmth. I'm going to max out Fireball, max out Meteor. Then you're going to put 1 point on Telekinesis, 1 point on Teleport. And then you're going to max out Frozen Orb, max out Ice Bolt. Now, with your remaining points, it is up to you. It is up to you if you want to be doing more ice damage, because it's depending on what gear you have. Say if you have an Escuchas instead of a Death's Fathom, and that has plus to fire, and you want to do more fire damage, or maybe you just like fire damage more, you can add more points to Fire Mastery. I would suggest adding points to Fire Mastery instead of Ice Firebolt here. But again, that's up to you. You're getting 5 points per point, or 5% per point on Meteor, and 14% on Fireball. Or I'm sorry, 14% on Fireball. And yeah, you're getting more percentage with Fire Mastery rather than Firebolt. And what I'll say here is you don't want to be putting too many points on Ice or Cold Mastery, because what Fire Mastery does is increase your damage, and what Cold damage does is reduce the amount of resistances that an enemy has, right? So you already have an Infinity, which gives you the Conviction aura. And so you can decide, right, if 5% minus their resistance is more important than, what is this? Oh God, I'm terrible at math in my head. I'm going to type this out. 7% more damage with Fire Mastery. In my opinion, you're going to put more points on Fire Mastery. This guy has, I think, just 2 points on Fire Mastery, And I wanted my cold mastery to be at 150% before I battle order. So, with this character, I love to farm Mephisto. I used to love farming a lot of places with this build actually. Oh, that was dope. Reason being is you can just worry about trying to farm this area, getting to him and clearing him as fast as possible. And I like to use Meteor on... There, he's dead already. Using Meteor on bosses is going to do tons of damage, and you're going to be able to lay that down quicker than just hitting them with a bunch of fireballs, and it's much safer that way as well. So I'm going to show you how you can clear Diablo. The way that I would clear with this character is just focusing on Diablo, right? You can teleport to Mephisto, just focus on killing Mephisto. Don't worry about the ads. With Diablo, just kill Diablo. Just be able to unlock the seals, and don't worry too much because there's a lot of mixed fire and ice immune. I'll say, yeah, I'll go into that a little bit later. But usually this is like my first build when I'm starting a ladder. So what I want to do here is lay down some meteors, hit the seal. There you go. So that when they spawn into this burning like landmine of fire. Right? It's doing 1.6k fire damage per second. So when you lay something down, you're damaging them, and you can do mixed damage and switch over to your ice attack, right? So the Venom Lords are usually fire resistant, and the Oblivion Knights are usually ice resistant. But as you can see so this is an instance where throwing down that meteor isn't going to help too much. I'm able to hide behind this.
Not enough model.
There we go. Oh, let's go into here. So, as you saw, I was low in health, and I was able to hide behind this and still shoot ice over the side. So that's a big advantage of this build. Especially before you have, like when you're, a lower level, or maybe, you don't have as much mana because you don't have like a spirit yet or something like that. Being able to not have to take everything head on and not have to like tank a bunch, or not having to have like your mercenary tank a bunch. It's really, really useful. The other thing I'll show you here is, like with cows or something, being able to lay down meteors like that, so that as monsters chase you, they're getting hit by the meteors. So, if these guys, let's see here. Yeah, so these guys are all fire resistant. So all those meteor work, doesn't really matter. He's immune to cold, switch over to fireball. And as you can see, he dies very quickly. I'm going to share this with my mercenary because
Thanks.
needs some of that. Oh, and here we go. This is how you kill Diablo real quick. Just lay down some fireballs. There's some meteors, and then hit him with some fireballs. And there you go. So as you can see, that didn't take up too much time. The other upside of this build is that, you know, that took how much time? That took less than 10 minutes. You know, so I could just go back, I could create a new game and farm another Mephisto run, or I could try and do some Baal runs. So I want to go up here because this guy is cold and fire resist. I just wanted to show you that my mercenary has no problem, you know, clearing. Oh my goodness, I forgot to go over the stats. You know, I feel like with stats, it's like, you know, you should know. You should know that I'm going full health. How many times you gotta hear go full health? So, with this boss, I just teleported close to him so that my mercenary could kill him. Then I'm out of here. So,
Stay a while and listen.
see what that tiara was. Oh, cool. Oh, it's got some magic fun on there. That's cool.
Can I help you?
Yeah. So, that's let's do a Baal Run too. First, let me get this curse off of me.
Good afternoon.
This character is really great for working with other characters or working with other players as well. You know, my buddy used to play as a smiter, so I would teleport to bosses, and if I had any trouble, he would just. I'm getting really lucky with these maps. This is great. If I was having any trouble, you know, he was able to help me out. And it was much better because for him, I was able to teleport around real quick. And we were able to split gear because he was melee and I was caster. So in an early ladder situation, I highly suggest doing stuff like that. And as you can see here, it's really great for running other people as well. Especially throne room when people are trying to level, because you could just lay down a bunch of meteors. And if you're with a bunch of people that don't have any gear, you know, it's no big issue. Towards the end of the video, I'm going to show you how I set up the skills, because I feel like that's really helpful. So, seen any good movies lately? Man, I remember running Baal Run through this character and just like chilling. Everybody just talking stuff. And you might be like, dude, what are you talking about? How'd you run Baal and you're only level 89? It's because a lot of times what I do is, here we go. I'll collect items on one character, have it work, and then just pass it off to another character. So this build, I use the full heal potion. There we go. He did. Let's go back to town and talk more in depth. You and I. All right. So I pass off the gear from one character to the next. Because sometimes I like trying different things. Okay, so let's go over the stats, because I missed that part. You want to use 156 strength on both sides so that you can use spirit on both sides. That you can use call to arms. No points into dexterity, as this is a player versus monster build. No points into vitality, as you can see. With this Stone of Jordan, with this Stone of Jordan and this, so you're at 500. But with these two pieces, I'm at almost 900 mana after a battle order. So any points into energy, and you're also not running energy shield on this character, so just dumping as much points into vitality. As you can see, I have a really healthy pool. I'm at 2.2k, and you have pretty decent, defense. Not bad. It's fine. Chance Baal will hit me is 72%. That's not bad defenses for a sorceress, especially. Cool. So thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, leave a like. If you have a question, leave me a comment. I'm going to go into some alternative builds now. I'm not necessarily going to show them. Maybe I'll show them on screen. But, let's say you can't afford a Spirit, a Nightwings, and Death's Fathom. Death's Fathom can only drop in ladder. So let's say you get like a rare orb and, you don't, let's see here. Yeah. So let's say you can't get tricks. Or let's say I can't do that because then I won't have enough strength. So let's say you can't get Mars, right? Let's say you can't get something crazy like this, right? What you could do is you could get just a magic like +3 to fire skills or +3 to cold skills. And then, if you can't afford an SOJ, you can just get a regular faster cast rate ring. That's not going to hurt. And then if you have 2 faster cast rate rings, then you have like more variability on what percentage your spirit is. Also, the other thing is if you can't have a Death's Fathom, let's check the damage with this. All right? It goes down a bunch, but you still have plenty of resistance. Here's the thing, your ice damage goes down. Goes down quite a lot. 34% to be exact. But you'd still be able to fly around here. Let's go here. Actually, let's go to a new game. I made the mistake by not changing X before leaving. Oh, the terrible walk of shame. Okay. So yeah, let's go Fitchin Highlands. It's pretty much the same clear speed, and you're teleporting just as fast. See? I will say, and also Mage Fists are not that expensive either. They drop pretty commonly. And you could swap these out for Trang's gloves and get more resistances. But as you can see, I like having more fire resist or fire damage. That extra, what is it? Extra 1,500, extra like 500 damage on a fireball. Yeah. So, right. Also, I use QWER. So I put my Q on Frozen Orb and put my W on Fireball. And then I put my E on Meteor over here because you can't left click with a Meteor. And usually when you use Meteor, there's a cooldown. You see how, even though I'm at 105 faster cast rate, that's still how long the cooldown is. So if I'm teleporting, if you're teleporting, I hold shift with my pinky. So you can shoot off some fireballs on W, and then switch to. So see how let's go here. So see how this is kind of narrow. I always like shooting off with fireball or with frozen orb first, especially if you're in a situation where you don't, if you're pre-level 30 or not pre-level 30. I'm sorry. If you don't have like so much gear and you have like lower mana, something that is easier is not teleporting as much, so you're not consuming as much mana, so you walk more. You could do that. So in hallways and stuff, say where's a good spot? Like in this sort of situation, it's better to orb first, so that way you're orbing around the corner, open the door, orb, switch to fireball, and then you can single target kill. That's what I like to do, at least. And then for switch, I do battle orders on F. Battle command, on F. Battle orders on D, and then frozen armor on S. Cool. So let me know what you think. Right. So for weapons, right? Especially for like an early ladder, what I try and get is I try and build a Hoto first, a Heart of the Oak, with a 4 open socket flail, so that way I get some resistances, plus the skills and faster cast rate. It has twice as much faster cast rate than this does, and it does pretty decent damage. And then once I do that, then I, will use that a lot on this character, and then pass it off to a Hammerdin, because I find that Hammerdin's, items are pretty expensive. So I'm usually playing on a Fire Orb sorceress like this, and then just passing off, if I'm waiting for another set of Mage Fist, and then I pass that off to the Hammerdin. Waiting for, a rack and pass that off to the Hammerdin, because trying to get an Enigma on a Hammerdin, especially like an early ladder, is so hard. So when you're just like walking everywhere as a Hammerdin, it's pretty brutal. So having a character like this that you have similar items that you can just use and pass off, maybe you get a full build going on here, and the only thing that you wouldn't really pass off to the Hammerdin is the Nightwing's Veil. Even Sandstorm Treks and, faster cast rate, and maybe, you could pass off Mars. And also with this build, you could swap out this Nightwing's Veil for a Shaco as well. You're going to do a little less damage, but have more magic find. So Shaco, you could have a Circlet, you could have a Lore for a while, and then Lidless here. Lidless, or if you're really broke, like a Saigon shield, a Sig shield here. But you have lots of options for the weapon here. You could go Whiz Spike, you could go, as I said, Hoto, and then also like an Escuchas, more fire damage, and also 40% faster cast rate. Death's Fathom is going to be when you have some other things, or if you magic find it. A rack you're going to pretty much want. And as I said, having faster cast rate rings on standby, like something like this, is really good with faster cast rate and mana, or strength and faster cast rate, so you don't have to use a bunch of points or use a restat or something like that. And then for an armor, you want something with resistances and plus the skills. So you could go like Viper Magi. You could go, what is it, Quahegans? No idea how to say that. And or what else? You could go stealth, like really early level, and you could just hold on to that for a while. But I really like Viper Magi here instead of a Chain of Honor. Some people do like to go Enigma for some magic find and a bunch of strength, and then that is again something that you could pass off to a Hammerden. We covered this by getting a magic amulet of some sort, and yeah, lidless is a really great alternative here because if you're an early ladder, Spirit is not that expensive. Sometimes finding a 4-open socket with Monarch is hard though. But the real thing that you want to focus on is getting your Mercenary and Infinity as fast as possible. Like not really worry, like being more flexible with your gear, but trying to get this Infinity because it's going to make your life so much easier. It's really expensive too. You're going to want an ethereal base because it'll be a popular trade item. It's going to do a bunch of damage, and having 2 bears, a Mal, and an Ist in ladder, you can just farm a bunch of Countess. Did I throw the tome on the ground? Great. But yeah, being able to be flexible with this build so that your other characters that you're building can do more damage and have more viability. So let's see here. So here's what I do with the waypoint. I don't get the outer cloister because I always forget where the where the Countess is. So when I do this, it's just so I can just go like here because I know that she's here. Is she here though? Is she in the Black Martyrs? The tower? See, this is why. Oh man. Yeah. So this is typically what I'd be doing is if I was rushing somebody, I'd rush them with this character or trying to farm keys or not keys. Try to just farm runes just by doing a bunch of Countess runs and upping them. And because this is an Act 1, you're not really encountering too many, as I say that, but like the baddies that are around you, they're not, like, if you're having a trouble, right? Like, say if I can't kill these guys, which, of course, I did. But if I can't kill them, I can just teleport away. And if I reach the Countess and she's both fire and cold resistance, then I can just start a new game. And, I'm not really scared of dying here because it's Act 1. So I feel pretty safe. And until you get a Mercenary Infinity, I would suggest going with an Insight. Give your Mercenary an Insight so that you can teleport and not worry about it. Get yourself a Viper Magi, hold on to that for a while. I wouldn't try and go Chain of Honor for a long time just because Viper Magi gives you, you're going to be doing more damage and have more resistances with Chain of Honor, but you just having that extra faster cast rate on your armor opens up the roll on your spirit. It opens up having to need like a faster cast rate, amulet or getting a Rax or something like that. And like people, especially as like a first build, having a Whiz Spike and just having a bunch of dexterity, putting a bunch of points into dexterity, and not having a torch, right? It's not the worst thing that, if you get a Viper Magi and a Whiz Spike, you're going to be more, you could look for Stone of Jordans and just get some plus to skills and a Shaco, and you're still flying around. Like with a Viper Magi and a Wisp Spike, it's not that hard to reach that 105 breakpoint. There we go. And in a ladder, I would just hang on to these and get as many runes as possible. Maybe try and trade with somebody just like, yo, I have 40 low runes. Like, what can you give me? Oh, great. This is a cool jewel. But yeah, oh my god. I kept finding tossing my town of portals in my stash and forgetting that I did that.
Good day.
So yeah, this is a great Countess farmer. It's a great leveler. It's a great all-around character. Early level, and then transitioning into like a late game where you can, I could probably like be in Ubers with a group with this character and I guess lay down some orbs or something, and then Meteor. It's really great in the team. If you're solo running, you can do some farming. I would stay away from trying to full clear, though. Again, it's going to just take a long time. It's going to be better for you to just hit the bosses and move on. Yeah, thanks for checking it out. In the next video, I have another build. Really excited to show off the other version of my Paladin, but I wanted to shoot this out real quick. And talk to you later. Bye. Oh, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more. Yeah. Bye.